Hey, fan addicts, we're back at it today. I want to talk about a matchup we have coming up here. And this matchup is for the Sixers in the third seed and the Nets in the sixth seed. So, this is not going to be an in depth breakdown. I'm just going to give you some of my thoughts on the teams and then my predictions. A lot of people think this is an interesting matchup. I don't really see it, honestly, because I feel like the Sixers just have much more talent. In the playoffs, your rotations get a little shorter. Your talent really gets a chance to shine. I do think the Nets may have better coaching. I think Brett Brown is the Sixers coach. I feel like he could do a better job with them. That may be a coveted coaching position. You know, I wouldn't mind seeing, like a Mark Jackson. What's the guy's name? Monty Williams, that used to coach the Pelicans. I feel like he would be great here. They have a lot of young talent. Um, but yeah, I feel like he could maybe able to do a better job there, coaching wise. But coaching only really matters when the teams are comparable in talent. Joel Embiid, Jimmy Butler, Ben Simmons, who was everyone's favorite player apparently. Uh, my comment sections are, it's a nice, healthy debate. It's sports. I actually enjoy it. Please keep the comments coming. I really like it. Um, but they have Ben Simmons, who I'm not saying is a screw up. He's just overrated. Well, he could be a screw up. Anyway, they have JJ Redick, one of the best shooters in the NBA. He's a professional shooter. He really went about the business of, you know, having a career in the NBA predicated on shooting the three ball. He don't do anything else. He shoots. You give me the ball, I'm shooting. Boban, I think he's a pretty good power forward center. He's a center, but he can help protect the paint when the game slows down. Right, if it slows down, they really need a defensive stop. They can't do much switching with him on the floor because he's not going to go guard no perimeter player. They need to make sure they go through the screen and um, go over the screen. But I think he can have an impact. You have a few other players like Jonathan Simmons, Mike Scott, 3 and D guys. TJ McConnell, who I like as a point guard. He's nothing to write home about, but he's gonna get some run. He's gonna get some run. Um, but again, the bench doesn't necessarily matter as much. The Nets, they have D'Angelo Russell. I respect this guy. He's a first-time All-Star. Reserve All-Star. He's one of the reasons why the Brooklyn Nets are even in the playoffs as a sixth seed. They're not the eighth seed. They're not the seventh seed. They're the sixth seed. I think that's respectable. We have the three-point contest winner and Joe Harris. This guy can really score. He can shoot the ball. He's not the best shooter in the NBA, but he can be considered one of the best. He didn't win the three-point contest. I don't necessarily know about his range or his scoring off the dribble. The three-point contest is literally picking the ball up off a rack and shooting it. So yeah, and he don't look great on defense either. But that's fine. That's not his game. He's here to shoot. We have Karis LeVert. I like this guy. He actually stood out to me in the preseason. I don't even know if he was a starter last year, honestly, because who watches the Nets? I'm not even going to lie about that. But I like his game. He reminds me of Jamal Crawford. He has that lofty, smooth dribble, crossover. Can score, shoot the shot, get to the rack. So I really like his game. I'm really interested to see kind of how he elevates his game next year. They have Jared Allen, pretty good rim protector. He had a few blocks on LeBron James this season, and lots of other people. Giannis, um, he's not afraid to get dunked on, so he gets blocks. Spencer Dinwiddie, I like him as a point guard too. He's a pretty good shooter. I think he's just an all around good player. They have a more cohesive team, right? They have a more cohesive team. But again, I just don't think that's going to play a huge factor. They have Jared Dudley, he's a veteran. I like that. They have Damari Carroll, also a veteran. I like that as well. But that's about it. That's their team. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Rondé Hollis Jefferson, ain't nothing wrong with that. But I just don't think they have the talent to compete. Now, how many games will it be? I think this is a 5 game series. I think, the Sixers are a pretty, I don't want to say they're a young team, but you have the head of your team are two young stars in Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. Jimmy Butler kind of brings some of that toughness and that grit. Um, I think Tobias Harris will be, he is a good addition. He's just a professional player. I don't think because he doesn't have too much expectation. So I don't think the stage will be too big for him. I think he could just go out there, play his game, get whatever he gets. Nobody's looking at Tobias Harris like you need to go out there and drop 25, right? So I think that'll be a benefit for him in the playoffs because they'll have low expectations. It'll be on Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. The 3-point shooting has changed the way the playoffs work, the way they function. There have been so many blowouts in the playoffs last year that it's kind of hard to determine. So a 1 game difference isn't really a difference whatsoever, right? So I think a sweep 4 games, that means you just like your team absolutely just shut down. The other team was firing on all cylinders. They had much more talent, probably a better coach. Like everything was just not in your favor. You were at a disadvantage everywhere. 5 games is like, okay, we belong here. Maybe we got hot one night from three. If we can replicate that on multiple occasions, then, it can be a 6 game series. And that's kind of where I think the Brooklyn Nets and the Sixers fall. I think 5 games is probably where they'll be. When they go back to Brooklyn, Brooklyn is going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. They're going to the playoffs for who since when? Paul Pierce, KG, right? Like it's going to be crazy, crazy, crazy in that stadium. I really hope the fans show up and that'll give them energy to play. I hope that'll give them energy to play and compete, defensively with the 3 ball because they are a more cohesive team. So they may be able to steal a game at home there. And if they get hot from three, maybe steal a game in Philly. Maybe. So I'm going a 5 game series, a gentleman sweep, just because Joel Embiid, there's just too much talent. There's too much talent. But hopefully the coaching of the Nets and just the adrenaline of them getting to the playoffs, playing carefree. Nobody expects them to do much. They clearly are the underdogs in this. Hopefully they can get out 2 games, but I'm going in 5. You guys let me know what you think in the comment section below. Who's gonna win this series? Can the Nets compete? Are we overlooking the Nets? I feel like they have some nice pieces, but I just don't think they can compete. Stay blessed, people.